Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of TRNM.
In today's episode, I will be telling you about my experience at Magic Kingdom on September 12th, 2020. I'll be going over stuff like, the crowd levels, how the lines were, and just my overall experience throughout the day. So like I said, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the crowd levels. Crowd levels weren't that bad at all, honestly. When we first walked in, Main Street was pretty crowded, but that's probably because they didn't have the rest of the park open at that time. So everyone was, crowding on Main Street, getting pictures of the castle. Which, speaking of the castle, the new paint on it looks amazing. But let's go ahead and talk about the crowds for a minute. The crowds weren't heavy at all. Yes, there were a lot of people there, but I didn't notice that. Everyone was so spread out, and the social distancing was enforced amazingly, so the park really did feel dead. I didn't have one issue with the social distancing at all. People really stayed away from me, which I like that. Even before the whole pandemic and everything, I don't like big crowds. That's just not what I'm into, so I don't like it when people get too close to me. So I honestly did feel really comfortable at Magic Kingdom. Another thing I'd like to talk about real quick is the masks protocol. Everyone was following those protocols amazingly. I didn't see any altercations between guests and cast members. It was just amazingly executed in regards to the protocols. I honestly feel safer going to parks than I do going to the grocery store by my house. But now moving on from the protocols and the crowd levels to the lines. Now, I've got some things to talk about the lines. All good things, just so you know. The wait times that they had physically posted outside of the rides were super long. I'm talking about 55 to 75 minutes. However, that's just how long it would normally take you to get from the entrance of the queue to the loading platform. That's not taking into account that you're standing 6 feet apart from other guests. So, in retrospect, it's actually half the time that's posted on there that you actually would wait. For instance, if you watched the vlog that I posted yesterday, you'll note that the wait time that I said the mine train had was 30 minutes. And yeah, I waited about 30 minutes for that. That was mainly just due to the operations being a little bit slower. But when I went over to Thunder Mountain, it said it was a 45-minute wait. I waited maybe 10 to 15. So that just shows you how short the lines really are. And that was a constant throughout the day with all the rides I went on. With that being said, I'll go ahead and read off what I did that day as far as rides and show goes. So here are the rides and shows that I did. And I did each of these once. Mine Train, Winnie the Pooh, Carousel, the 4-Hour Magic Show, Peter Pan, Small World, Space Mountain, Buzz Lightyear, Barnstormer, Little Mermaid, Thunder Mountain, and Pirates. So that just shows you how many rides I was able to get on that day, which is pretty good considering I was only there for about 5 to 6 hours. Not to mention that I took about an hour to have lunch at the Cosmic Rays Starlight Cafe in Tomorrowland, which is my favorite restaurant at Magic Kingdom. So now let's go ahead and talk about my experience while on the rides. The social distancing protocols on the rides was very simple, and it's pretty much the same throughout every other park. Not only in Disney, but Universal, Six Flags, Cedar Fair, etc., etc. Basically, let's say on Pirates, they had rows 2, 4, and I believe 6 closed off. So every other row was closed off, and it was one group per row. Which that in no way affected the ride experience. I really enjoyed every ride that I went on. One downside that it's kind of just personal preference. My favorite row on Thunder Mountain is row 15, which is the very last row. We weren't able to choose our row like normal, which was expected, but still a good ride nonetheless. With all that being said, I had an amazing experience at Magic Kingdom. It wasn't my first experience at Disney since the pandemic, and it definitely won't be my last. If you're kind of scared about going out to parks due to the pandemic, I highly encourage you to go to Magic Kingdom. You'll feel very safe, and it will be an amazing experience. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.